Welcome to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, back with you for our second episode of the week. Daredevil has me very distracted. My mind is on it, and it's on me. I don't know if that's true. So today, we're going to do something a little different, a little bit lighter. Let's talk villains. And it is maybe not so light, because when we're just trying to decide who's the best villain and who's the worst villain, a lot can be up for debate. So I want to know what you think. Definitely want to know what you think. Let me know at MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. Best hero, worst hero, underrated. What do you think? I was going to list every single villain, but that would actually probably take me like 5 minutes. So I'm going to go through my list of who I think are the best, the worst, and the underrated villains of the MCU. And I'm not going to waste any time. Let's start talking about the best villains. And you know what? Maybe at the end we'll nail it down to one in each category. But for now, let's just go through them. So for the best, I just had to put him on the list because he's ultimately let's be real. I'm probably going to pick Thanos. He's the ultimate villain. He has the biggest impact on the whole greater MCU. Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely wrote the script like pros, like they've done other MCU movies, including The Winter Soldier, the original one, Captain America, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. And I think even another two. Oh, yeah, it's the upcoming Doomsday and Secret Wars. They're writing, and we get the Russo brothers back. It's one of the writers, not both, but they share an office. Ideas most likely will be bounced off on each other. I just have a good feeling about this. I think it's really great. So yeah, Thanos is my favorite villain. If I'm going to be more specific, if you want to ask me what Thanos, because there's technically the one we have in 2014, 100% the one that collects the stones in Infinity War. He is insanely cool, and he's such a bad guy. He goes back around to becoming a good guy again somehow in his own twisted way that you can even see as an audience member and somehow twistedly agree with in a weird way. I don't know. I don't actually agree with what he did, but I think it's funny that even in the MCU, there's a reference in Hawkeye. Thanos was right. It was right over a urinal he was at. That's kind of dark, you know. Next, I'm gonna have to say Loki. He has the best character development in the MCU, debatably at all, over heroes and villains. But of villains, I mean, Thanos is sick. Thanos talks. He talks too much. And Loki is similar in that he does talk. I bet you Loki, when he got the staff and the army of the Kree, not the Kree, what are they called? The Chitauri. They gave him that scepter. He gave him that scepter, Thanos, to take Earth and get him stones. And as Ryan Airy once told me, they didn't know exactly what they were going to do with the stones when they first introduced Thanos. But what they did know is that he was a villain that they were willing to work up towards, and they did. It took them 12, 13, 14, 8 years, I think. Just slow build, slow burn. And Loki was a big part of that. And we know later officially that they wrote it, so it was Loki who was dealing with Thanos. And it is questionable why he would give away an Infinity Stone so he can win an Infinity Stone, and why wouldn't he do it himself? I think Thanos is a lot more calculated than just jumping into a situation where he might not stand a chance. That's why 2014 Thanos, he saw all the stones, and he saw that he could do it, so he became cocky when he saw himself die on that image. So that's why I think he's a lesser motivated Thanos. He thinks he could do anything because of the future, who he hasn't become yet, did it. So that's very interesting in that of itself. It's one of the coolest complex villain situations, in my opinion, in the MCU. So where we leave Loki now, spoiler alert, he's not much of a villain anymore. He might actually be the MacGuffin of Avengers Doomsday, where everyone's trying to get to him at once. If you haven't seen the show Loki, I won't spoil it for you. Watch it. It's probably the most necessary watch of the Infinity Saga on Disney Plus, in my opinion, up to this day. And I would definitely get to watch it. It's very good. You won't be bored. I promise. Killmonger. He's another insanely good villain. Not underrated, underutilized. I wish they didn't kill him. I want to see him in the multiverse. I want to see him come back. I want a redemption arc with him. I think he's fantastic. The Green Goblin in the MCU, officially through the older Spider-Man movies, first Spider-Man villain, and he comes through the multiverse, and man, I don't know, he really puts on even more of a performance. Like, he does a performance under the mask in the first one, which is really like respectable in that of itself, but him taking off the mask and kind of embracing that goblin smile when Peter Parker's punching him in the face and he keeps looking back at him smiling like the Joker in a way. He even took it to another level somehow. So it's honestly, he's probably one of the biggest threats we've seen and one of the best villains. Honorable mentions: Kingpin. I think the best of him is yet to come. Zemo from Civil War, and the High Evolutionary from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. All very good villains. High Evolutionary almost made the main list, but there's so many villains. Those last three all deserve a spot, to be honest. Let's talk about the worst MCU villains. Malekith. I believe he is the leader of the elves, the Dark Elves in Thor. Dark World. I tried defending that when I watched Thor Dark World. I think, like, you know what? It's not that bad. You know, he wants to take over the universe. What he wants to do is turn the whole universe to eternal night so they can reign supreme, the Dark Elves. They are pretty evil, that species, and they killed Thor's mom, and we don't like them very much. We don't like them at all. If they come back, I hope their leader has a little more complexity. That's what the real issue was with him. No personality. Ghost, that is from Ant-Man and the Wasp, our first post-Infinity War villain. I'm pretty sure that came out before Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel. That was two movies in between Infinity War and Endgame. Ant-Man and the Wasp was one of them. Ghost was like a villain somewhat in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but it was kind of a weak presence. It wasn't in the writing. It's just like she wasn't really a villain. She was just somebody who needed help. We didn't see her do too many bad things. There was like the group of guys who we don't know who their boss was like trying to kill her too or something. I gotta watch that movie again. We'll cover it again. I did all the Ant-Man episodes in just one episode. Taskmaster, people think, this is a big one. I was not upset with Taskmaster, but when I saw what people would call wasted potential, the character from the comics, usually guys, so they not race swap, they gender swap, it just doesn't bother me. But then Dreykov, generic evil dude, no weight on him. This is hard for me to say, but you have to think about it a little bit. Like, we didn't get to meet Dreykov really until much like the beginning and then the end. I'll be honest with you. This list of worst MCU villains are not even that bad. Like, that's why I like the MCU so much. It's hard for me to make this list. Dishonorable mentions: Aldrich Killian. I believe he's the guy who wanted to use that stuff in Iron Man 3. I forget what it's called. Terra something, and it makes him morph out into like a giant lava monster guy. He's just he doesn't grow into a giant lava monster. He just becomes a lava monster. And Pepper Potts becomes it too, and they try and make you think she's dead. The most underrated villains: Mysterio, insanely great and deceptive. We're going to be talking about Far From Home soon. Ego, a literal living freaking planet. I liked him a lot, but I thought Guardians of the Galaxy, it was good in its own right. But they do kind of stay on Ego the whole time. And not that that's a horrible thing. Great character development. I think they could have even done a lot more with Ego. I want to know more. It's just a living planet. More. Give me more. Zemo, definitely underrated because he has no powers. Just pure manipulation and badassery. High Evolutionary. I think I brought him up as like an honorable mention, but I have to bring him up again. He was a monster in Guardians 3, and I've seen some people even comment that Kang the Conqueror he was not even as good as the High Evolutionary. I'll be honest though, Kane the Conqueror has to go also under underrated villains because we didn't get to see really where his story was going. Plus, he's people consider Jonathan Majors a really bad person, but he's been cleared as innocent, so I definitely put him underrated. If they bring him back, give it time, and I think they might be able to do that story. I at least hope they tie up a loose end or two in Doomsday, because that's where they were leading us for years. Okay, well, that's about all the time we got today. It's been about 10 minutes. Like I said, I want to know who your picks are. Let me know. MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. We have a Patreon now. If you'd like to join our team, we'd love to have you. There's a bunch of tiers, and some of them get you exclusive content. And I'm not going to start making the content until we get at least like one guy in there who's down to listen to some stuff. And I'm excited as heck to put it together for you guys. It'll be a great hub for us to have, and you will be recognized for your dedication as a Marvel maniac yourself. It's so hard for me to do shorter episodes that I know I'm going over my 10-minute mark, but I'm trying to get through it quick. I just want to say there's just so much to say about the MCU to compact it into 10 minutes, but I want to get used to making some of these quick, shorter episodes for when I'm feeling a little like, for example, Daredevil this week, it's got me, and I'm thinking about it, and I was going to watch Spider-Man Far From Home and then cover that today, but I want my mind to be in the right place when I do it, and my mind's kind of like all over the place, so talking about all these villains has been really fun, and maybe I'm wrong. Give me your list, MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. That's my third time asking you. That's got to be good luck. Until this upcoming Wednesday, where we get Daredevil episode 4. I know there's another day that has 2 episodes. I don't know if it's next week. And I'm thinking the way that I did my last double episodes for episodes 1 and 2, how I had to go and tell you guys that I skipped a whole plot point. I think I might do the episodes separately if there are 2, the next 2. I want to do them both justice. So it will most likely be 2 episodes for me, a one-night event for them. 2 episodes. It's not the finale. If I'm going to guess, it's going to be the 2 before the finale. But I will let you know on Wednesday when we are talking Daredevil again. Thank you for being here. We'll see you Wednesday. And until then, Avengers, disassemble.